In a town full of beauty and beasts, there's only one person going bankrupt, and that's me. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Rafael and I am here to review episode 15 of The Real Housewives going broke because of their rebrand of Salt Lake City. But before that, I wanted to wish everybody a happy new year. We are officially in 2022, the new year. This is officially my first video of the new year, so that's very surreal itself. I hope everybody has a really good 2022. I know 2021 was a wild roller coaster, so I just hope that the new year brings positivity and great situations for all of us. So with that being said, let's get to the review. So we start the episode off with Whitney. Whitney's looking around for the place that she's gonna have her event at later on in the episode, or possibly the next place that she's gonna live at after she files for bankruptcy for fucking up her entire savings account. And then we head over to Lisa. Lisa, she's trying to be relatable and she's cleaning a toilet, right? I'm like, Lisa, this is what we're doing now? I can only imagine how she probably went up to the camera crew and was just like, okay, so I have like this really cool, like awesome idea. I'm gonna be scrubbing a toilet and you're gonna film me from the back and I'm gonna turn around as if you're not there, you know, so we could be like more relatable to people. Yeah, no, I usually have like, people do this for me, but I'm just gonna try to be relatable. So I'm gonna get down on my knees really quickly, okay? So just get the camera on me, okay? Give me that sponge. Okay, give me these gloves too. Oh my God, this bathroom. What the fuck is Jack eating? Oh my God. You know what? No more Del Taco, because this is just nasty. Okay, let me clean. Are you filming me? Okay, let me smile. Yeah, no, John, I can't believe this. Like this, I know that our the person that comes to clean this, our helper, she does a good job, but you know me. I like to have everything so sparkly. Get it? You're like, sparkly. It's so cute, right? Yeah, no, let me get this. Okay, did you get the footage? You got the footage? Okay, good. Oh, this is so fucking nasty. No, John, no, you need to call Marge back because this is nasty. I'm not doing this shit anymore. This is disgusting. I can only imagine that's exactly how the scene went down. But, again, kudos to you, Lisa, for trying to be relatable to people, that don't have the money like you. So then we head over to Jenny. Jenny pulls up to Dewey's workplace, Fast and the Furious style, in this beautiful green car. And she has a bag of Cheesecake Factory food that she has for her and Dewey to have like a little lunch date, while he's on break. So she goes in there. She's like, oh, sometimes I come to Dewey's place to just say hi, to have lunch with him, or to see if there's any sister wives hiding around in the rooms. And I'm like, yeah, Jenny, you may have been joking about that, but deep down inside you were probably serious, and you probably cried right after making that joke. But regardless, she goes inside. Dewey, he greets her, and he's like, "Hey, honey, how's it going?" She's like, "Look, I got food for us. It's like a 2 for $20 special, so let's go out and let's eat it somewhere here." And then Dewey proceeds to have even more audacity that he already had at the beginning of the season, because he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a table ready for us." And if I was Jenny, I would have been like, "Okay, so where's the table? Where is it? Oh, this? Where you put your patients at? No, absolutely not. Especially with COVID probably all over it. There's probably lice all over it. There's probably bed bugs all over it. No. You expect me to have lunch and be a classy woman and eat my dinner like this, eat my lunch like this on top of a patient table? No, Dewey. No, that's not how we do it. Like, absolutely not. If I was Jenny, I would have been like, you know what, Dewey, fuck this table. Let's just go out in the car that I just rented out for like 2 days. The green car, let's just go in there and have dinner in there, because that's more fancier than having it on the table that you use, your job at. Like, no, that's gross to me, in my opinion. But regardless, they sit down, they start talking. Jenny's telling Dewey that her lunch experience that she had with the women the day before, it was a disaster. It was a complete chaos. Everybody was fighting. And then at the same time, we see Mary. She's meeting up with Meredith at a restaurant one-on-one to have a sit down. So all of this is happening at the same time. So then we flash over to Mary. Mary, she sits down with Meredith, and not even 2 minutes into the conversation, and Mary's already just doing another racist, ignorant act. Like, I'm just like, come on now, Mary. This is what, like, your 4th or 5th episode in a row? I mean, maybe the first time, okay, maybe you didn't mean the first comment, but come on now. This is like the 5th, 4th episode of you saying some stupid shit. And it's just like, how many more times are we going to continue this? Like, without any type of apology, or without you like realizing what you're saying is wrong. And what she did wrong was she was mimicking Jenny, because she was trying to tell Meredith about, how Jenny was coming at her at the luncheon, at the faux luncheon, and she's like, yeah, no, Jenny was coming at me like this, and that, and then she started mimicking Jenny the way she speaks, like her accent, and I'm like, oh, as soon as I heard it, I was just like, oh, come on, Mary, like, I really like Mary on the show, but I'm just like, Mary, I just don't know how many times I could keep trying to, like, maybe look past certain things that you say or whatever, but no, this is like the 100th time already, and it's just like, how many more times? And Meredith, I also kind of like you, and it's very disappointing that you kind of just chuckled at it. Maybe it was like a nervous chuckle because she was just like, no characters, please. And I'm like, characters? That's not a character. That's not something that Jenny just wakes up and she's like, oh, let me pretend to be this, or this today. You know, that's not how it goes. And then on Twitter, so now on Twitter, you know, even though in the episode it seems that Mary and Meredith are cool, in Twitter, in the real life, Mary and Meredith are going back and forth on Twitter because Meredith, she had tweeted saying, oh, after, you know, the conversation that she had with Mary, she had a personal conversation with Mary, and she told her, you know, certain comments that you say, it's not cool, it's not right, like you shouldn't say certain things, and she's trying to educate Mary. That's what she had tweeted. Mary, she replied to Meredith's tweet not too long ago, and she's like, educate me? No, you know that I was coming from a complimental type of way. Like, I'm not trying to come at Jenny like any type of way. So obviously, I don't know who Mary has left on the cast that she's friends with, because Meredith was like her only saving grace, but I don't think even that's gonna help out. So I don't know if Mary's gonna come back for season 3. I see that people are very, you know, like split down the middle with Mary. Some don't agree with what she says. Some think that, oh, why is she getting crucified? You know, is it because, you know, she's the only black woman on the cast? And what do y'all think? I mean, if she was Ramona, let's say that Ramona was on the cast and she was saying, I mean, Ramona probably has said some stupid shit like this in New York, if not worse, but she's still on the show. So, I mean, people want Mary fired so badly, but has Ramona been fired? And I'm not even trying to justify it or anything, but has Ramona been fired? Look, she was just on the spinoff, the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, and people have said, because I don't watch New York like that, but people have said that Ramona has said some very extremely ignorant things in the New York Housewives. So do we let Mary pass with this and maybe learn from this and stuff, and maybe next season if she comes back she'll be better? Like, what do y'all think? I don't think that it's cool that Mary's saying any of these things. I wish that she would be a little bit more in the knowing about it. I'm just like, Mary, come on now, like, I don't know. And what's crazy too is that she's also a pastor. It's just like, I just don't see how people go to her church and listen to her. Jenny, she's also tweeting too. You know, I'm giving y'all the 411. Jenny, she had also tweeted, I think, a screenshot of Meredith laughing in this scene, and she's like, oh, you know, let's use our privilege, you know, to educate people and to not do this, you know, the whole rundown, and saying that you shouldn't be laughing at this, you shouldn't be doing this, or you shouldn't be interacting with this, or if you do see something like this, or your friend say something like this, then call her out on it, you know. And that's what Meredith fucked up with. Meredith, that personal conversation that you had with Mary off the camera, you should have had it on camera, so that way you wouldn't look as bad as Mary, because by you just laughing and just kind of just shrugging it off, it's just like, is anybody gonna say anything? And let's not forget Heather, her comment from last week, well, from 2 weeks ago, when she was just like, oh yeah, you look like an anime character. That still goes like unnoticed. It's always on Mary. And again, I'm not saying that, you know, one is more wrong than the other, but if you're going to call out one thing, call out everybody for it, and everybody across all the cities of the Housewives, not just Mary, you know. So Mary continues on by telling Meredith that she feels like Jenny is a little mini Lisa, you know, that she's like, oh, well, you know, she's close friends with Lisa, so I feel like, you know, she's just coming at me because Lisa could come at me like that, and you're not going to speak to me whatever way you want. Now, Mary, she does have a slight point to this, because up to the faux lunch, I was with Mary between this whole feud with her and Jenny, because Jenny just constantly coming for Mary for no absolutely reason, just always just, you know, just on the attack. Ever since she was just like, oh, Mary, you need to shut the fuck up. Ever since that moment right there when they went, you know, playing in the snow, from that moment, I've always looked at Jenny like, Jenny, why are we always just going after Mary? So I could see why Mary would see that. You know, even though Jenny did have a point on calling Mary out on her bullshit at the luncheon, I understand why Jenny did that, but anything prior to that, I've always questioned Jenny. And let's also not forget, Jenny, your suspicious acts as well, of you posting the picture of you holding the black child in Times Square in New York. And I'm not sure why you did that, saying, oh yeah, he was crying, so I picked him up because I know that, you know, children, they need love, etc., you know, whatever bullshit excuse she used for posting that picture specifically, because she knew the type of backlash that she was gonna get when the episode aired of her telling Mary to shut the fuck up. So Jenny, I don't know, even though you're trying, I mean, what Mary said about you is not cool. It's not right at all, like, by any means. Your actions sometimes are very suspicious as well, you know, like the motive behind it. So I don't know. I mean, it just so happens that everybody now is against Mary because of what she said. So of course, they're all gonna, jump on the Jenny wagon. It's like, oh, Jenny's right, but they're all gonna look past everything you said or done prior to this moment. So, so that's that. And I don't really think that Jenny is honestly being a mini Lisa. I mean, I don't see it because I feel like Jenny, even though she may have suspicious actions sometimes, she is her own person. I feel like she has her own mind, and that's what kind of makes her good on the show, up to now at least, because before she was just kind of like just there not doing anything. But for the most part, I don't really think she's doing anything that Lisa would. I mean, they're both their own separate persons. So they go back to Jenny. Jenny's telling Dewey that she's gonna have a one-on-one conversation with Mary to address the whole slanted eye comment that she's not cool with. And Dewey's like, yeah, no, that's really not cool. In the Asian community, especially when I was younger, I was picked on for that. So we also see Heather at Beauty Lab, and she's gifting her business partner a brand new car with a bow on it. And her business partner, she comes out and she's like, you don't have to take the bus anymore. You don't have to beg me to give you a ride home anymore. No, like, yeah, you definitely don't. You don't even have to call Uber. Give me your phone. You see the Uber app? Delete that. You don't even have to take that. You don't even have to call your ex anymore to come pick you up, and take you home. You have a brand new car. And then she starts crying. Her business partner, she starts crying. She starts getting emotional. She's like, wait, this car is for me? What? Why? Wait, what? Like, I've only been working here for 2 days. What do you mean? And Heather's like, no, it's fine. It's only leased for a couple of hours. We're only going to get this for the footage for the show. And then we're gonna give it back. So stop crying, because you're gonna be crying even more when the car leaves. And I thought it was a cute little gesture, and I'm like, damn, Heather, this is how you treat your employees and your business partners. If that's the case, can you send the bitch an application so I could fill that shit out and have it emailed to you quickly tomorrow? Like, beep, beep. Then we head over to Lisa's house, and she's getting Jack, her son, ready for prom. She's gonna have a whole prom photo shoot prior to him leaving in her living room. So she's like, oh my God, Jack, I love it. I love it. You look so cute. Are you ready for this photo shoot? Do you have everything? Are you ready? You're so cute. You're so adorable. Okay, just go over there. Oh my God, wait, I think somebody's ringing the door. Let me go get it. Oh my God, it's the photographer, Lyman. Hey, Lyman. Oh my God, are you so excited about this? I'm just so excited about this. Like, look at my son, Jack. He looks so nice in his outfit. Okay, go take a photo shoot. Go take pictures. So as Lisa, she's sitting back, and she's just struggling with the urge of getting in front of the camera and just pushing Jack to the side. I'm like, okay, take pictures of me. She was trying so hard to not make it about herself while the photographer was taking pictures of her son. And she's like, back when I went to prom, and then they put a flashback photo of Lisa back in 1992 when she went to prom. And I'm like, who is that woman? Like, I'm telling y'all, these flashback photos be killing the housewives when, their current look. But Lisa, she continues making it about herself. She's like, wait. Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture really quickly? Like, just really quickly. I want to take a quick photo. And then the photographer is like, no, it's only Jack. And then all of a sudden, John, Lisa's husband, he comes out of nowhere. And I feel like he was a little pissed that the photographer had told Lisa to stay out of it, because John, he comes out of nowhere with his chest all big. And he's like, what do you mean that Lisa can't be in the pictures? What do you mean she can't be in a photography? What do you mean? And I'm like, ooh, John, like, wait a minute, calm down. It's not that serious. Your wife is going to get a turn. And then Jack, his date shows up. Her name is Sammy, and Lisa goes to the door to go answer. And she's like, Sammy, hey, Sammy. Oh my God, you look so pretty. We need to take pictures, memories. Come on, we need to take pictures. Come on. Wait, should I get the corsage? No, you got it. Are you sure, Jack? You sure? You sure, Jack? You sure? Sammy, what about you? Do you need anything? Do you want a glass of orange juice or something? You sure? You sure? Okay, both of you look so adorable. Okay, go take pictures, go. Oh, stunning. You look so nice, Jack and Sammy. So cute. Okay, is it my turn? And as soon as the photographer gave Lisa the go to get in the pictures, she was just like... I'm going to take a page out of Lisa Barlow's book, and I'm going to make this about me for 1 second. And I'm going to show you all my prom look that I had when I went to prom. Like, Rapunzel couldn't tell me anything. It was an interesting experience, but this was my look when I went to prom. Then we head over to Whitney's house, and she's being accompanied by Heather, who's there to help her out fill out these Happy Meal bags that Whitney has, that she's filling out with a bunch of toys that she got from Party City and Amazon. And she is so stressed about her rebrand party for her launch that she's having for her brand, that to this day, to this episode, I still don't know anything about it. Like, Whitney, you did such an awful job at rebranding your whole entire brand. I mean, I don't know. It's been like, how many episodes of you talking about it? And I still have no clue. And if I do have a clue, the clue goes right out the window the next episode because I forget about it. And none of the marketing that you're doing on the show is like, good at all. So Whitney wasted her opportunity that she had on this platform to promote her brand, to rebrand it, and to promote it to the audience properly, because up to this episode, I still have no idea what her brand is or where she's going with it. I mean, yeah, maybe one time she explains it and then maybe, okay, I get it. And then the next episode, I'm confused all over again because I'm like, wait a minute, what was it again? What was it? It doesn't leave a memorable, mark in your head, or at least it doesn't in my brain. So again, I know I had told you, Whitney, in my last review, that maybe you should get some advice from Robin in Potomac, because Robin, she sells these gas station hats, and maybe she could help you rebrand your whole entire brand, because according to Robin, she paid off her taxes and her house with everything, so maybe she could give you some money. But I feel like maybe you should go to the expert and go to Candy in Atlanta, and maybe she could give you some advice, because Candy, season after season after season, she always promotes something that she's doing or she's selling for the audience, and she does a good job at it, and she knows how to market everything perfectly. So maybe that's who you need to go to. Forget about Robin and forget about your husband. But then, speaking of her husband, she tells Heather that, she used up their entire savings account. And I'm like, what? I mean, I know she mentioned it before, but she's like, oh yeah, we're like 300,000 in debt or whatever. And then she's like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm very ashamed sometimes, and I should get time out because I feel like I've been a bad girl because I don't want to seem like I'm stealing from my family or that I'm taking money away from my children's college fund, even though that's exactly what I'm doing, So I don't know. What do you think, Heather? And I'm just like, first of all, Whitney, you should be ashamed. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're wasting all this money, and for what? I mean, I could not imagine. I know that her children are probably going to sleep every night stressed, like, oh my God, where are we gonna eat tomorrow? What are we gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen? We're gonna have to move out of Salt Lake City. What's gonna happen? We're gonna have to live in Mary's church, so I don't know. That whole situation is just a whole financial crisis in itself. I mean, everything is just falling apart, but hopefully she gets it together. Then her and Heather, they start having this conversation that at first I thought they were just joking, but they were actually serious, because they started talking about Mary. They're like, Mary wasn't on the bus that one time where Jen got arrested when she left the bus, everything that happened at Beauty Lab a couple episodes ago. And I'm like, maybe Mary has something to do with Jen's arrest and everything, because she did say, oh, well, if you mess with me or my church, you're going to end up in jail. And then they both started putting like these dots together, like, oh, wait, maybe Mary and Meredith were in cahoots. And that's why Meredith wasn't on the bus either, because Mary warned Meredith not to be on the bus because the police were going to show up to try to get Jen, so she shouldn't be there. And then Lisa, now she's coming at Mary because Lisa found out that it was Mary who called the police. And they just came up with this huge fantasy story. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I know it's fun to speculate and everything that, yeah, maybe Mary or somebody that doesn't like Jen called the police. But in all reality, I'm pretty sure, like everybody said online, that the police and Homeland Security, they don't need any help. They've probably been tracking Jen for the longest now. And this just so happened to explode on camera. So I don't think Mary was really a part of it. And if she was, I mean, imagine that though. I mean, what do y'all think? I don't think so. I don't think nobody on the cast was involved, but I do think that there's one person on this cast that's a friend of the show that was included in Jen's arrest, and that person is Brooks. So then we head over to Jen's house, and I could smell a stunt from a mile away, because what her and her mom were doing in front of these cameras, I know exactly what Jen was trying to do. Like, her and her mom, they decided to meet up at her house, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of these healthy packages that the community needs, so my mom is here to help me out on it. So they're, putting a bunch of packages together. I believe some of the material was just like, toothbrush, toothpaste, stuff that you need for hygienic purposes. So her and her mom are doing it, and I'm just like, okay, Jen, I mean, yeah, it's a nice little gesture and stuff. It is a big gesture for, for the community if they need it so badly. But at the same time, I'm like, Jen, I don't know. I want to say that you're doing this from a good place of heart, but at the same time, I'm like, I know that you're just trying to clean up your image from what just happened to you. You just went to jail. You have all these accusations being pointed at you, and now you're just trying to make up a good image that, oh yeah, no, I'm a good person. and I'm a good woman. Like, I would never do such a thing. Like, look, I'm giving back to the community. So I'm like, again, kudos to you, I guess, for doing this for the community, but your purpose is behind it. I don't know. It's a bit little fishy. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that she's really doing it from a good, place of heart? I don't know, but her and her mom, they're doing it. They're having a conversation. She's telling her mom that she needs $2 million for the lawyer fees. And I'm like, damn, I mean, I get it that the lawyers are trying to keep her out of jail, but what else are they doing for me for $2 million? I mean, are you going to take me on a date? Are you taking me to France to see the Eiffel Tower or something? You have to bring me flowers every day for $2 million. That is a lot of money. And then the mom, she's like, I'm going to help you out too. I'm going to use my retirement money, that's close to $1 million to help you out too. And I'm just like, between Jen and Whitney, it's going to be a race to see who's going to file for bankruptcy first, because everybody is just fucking up their money on this show. Like, that is a lot, but it's unfortunate. It really is for the mom. I mean, I always wonder in situations like this, like for Jen and her mom, for example, I wonder if Jen was to be found guilty allegedly of her crimes and, scamming people out of their money, I wonder if the mom will look at Jen like, oh, wait a minute. My daughter is guilty. She is, a criminal, or she is this, that, and the third. Or will she always look at Jen innocent for life, because she's her mom? So I always wonder that type of dynamic, but it's unfortunate. But Jen, it is what it is. Again, you did the crime and now you're like, oh, this wasn't supposed to happen to me. So who was it supposed to happen to? I'm like, Jen, stop. You're not painting out a good picture of yourself on the show. So we finally get to Whitney's Wild Rose event that becomes a wild ass mess. And Mary and Meredith are the first one to show up. Meredith, she shows up in Big Bird Couture because she has this purple suit on with a bunch of purple feathers hanging off it all the way down to her feet. And I'm like, I think I like it, but I kind of don't, but I think I like it. So I think I do like it. I'm just like, I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. But either way, she kind of reminded me of that Pokemon called Blaziken, but a purple version of it. I'm going to put a picture here of it. Like, you can't tell me that both pictures are not similar. It's just Meredith is a purple version of it. So Heather, she shows up. She looks cute too. I believe Dewey was there. I was like, oh, Dewey's there. I think, is this the first time that he was at like an event besides that poker one at the beginning? Speaking of poker, we see Sarah Paulson. Angie, she shows up. I know Angie was probably pissed watching this. I mean, she probably filmed the entire season thinking that she was going to be rewarded a snowflake at the end of the filming. And look, now this is the second time we've seen her since 7 episodes already. But she shows up. She looks cute too. I believe Lisa, she shows up next with John. She looked interesting as well. Mary, she starts complaining she just starts doing too much. She's like, where's the coat check? Where's the coat check? This is the worst event I've ever been to. Like, this is disgusting. I can't believe this. This is trash. And I'm like, Mary, can you just please be happy for 1 second? I mean, just for 2 seconds, just fake your happiness for Whitney. I mean, a coat check, really? I mean, your coat was cute. Just keep it on or just put it down or something. I'm pretty sure that it belongs to somebody from the church anyway. So anyways, Jen, she shows up with Coach Shaw, I believe. And Jen, I was just like, who is this blonde woman? She had on a whole different wig on. And I'm like, I know exactly what Jen is doing here. She is trying to change her entire personality so people or the police or whoever's watching the show doesn't see that this is Jen. She's probably going by her new name, Samantha. She's like, Jen who? I'm not Jen. I'm not the criminal who everybody's looking for. I'm Samantha. I'm a new woman now. I've seen the movie Gone Girl. I know exactly what she's doing. And then Heather, she's talking to Jenny. Jenny, she has a bag on the floor, and Heather's like, wait, what's in the bag? What's going on here? And Jenny, she tries to have her own little Kim Richards moment, and she's like, oh, the boots, the bunny. The boots are in there that Mary gave me. And Heather's like, wait, what do you mean? Why are you giving her the boots back? And Jenny's like, well, I'm giving her the boots back because they weren't a genuine gift. So I'm just going to give them back because they weren't full of good energy. When it's the right energy, then I'll give it to my son. And then I believe it was Jen. Yeah, Jen walked up to Heather. Heather, the lies, because she's like, oh, you look so nice like this, Jen. You look really, really pretty with this wig on. And then Jen was just like, thanks. I was going for a Beyonce look. And I'm like, Beyonce? Beyonce, I am so sorry, sweetie. Let's have a moment of silence for that. Speaking of complaining, Mary wasn't the only one complaining because Meredith, as soon as she saw Jen, she got so annoyed that she was invited to another event that Jen was also invited to. She was just like, I don't understand why people keep inviting me to this event with Jennifer Shaw. I already told you over and over again not to invite me if Jen was gonna be there. And I'm just like, okay, Meredith, you need to decide. Is it gonna be your snowflake or just your snowflake? Because there is no other decision here. Like, you are not realizing that you're on a reality TV show. I said this in my last review. You need to realize that you cannot ice anybody out like that just because you don't want to film with them. Like, that's just not how it goes. It's either you leave the show or you leave the show. There is no other option because Jen is not leaving. She is a good part of the show. So she's also part of your storyline. So without her, what exactly are you going to talk about? Lisa? Like, or your feathers? You need to stop that mentality, Meredith. I know she's always just like, oh, I'm disengaging. That's her, right? Or is it Lisa? I always get both of them confused. But yeah, no, it is Meredith. That's always like, oh, I'm disengaging. No, you need to engage for a snowflake for next season, or else if you continue disengaging, you're going to disengage your ass off the show. Whitney makes her grand entrance wearing this beautiful red outfit, and I'm thinking, okay, Whitney, you look nice and presentable for somebody who just fucked up you and your husband's savings account, but you know what? If you're going to go broke, you might as well look lavish while doing it. But everybody, they're all mingling, they're all having a good time, everybody's just having a conversation. We see the husbands, they're all together, and Zeph, I believe Zeph is Meredith's husband. Zeph is just such a creep. He's just like, to Whitney's husband, he's like, oh, I hear that you go golfing with your wife. And I'm like, okay, where are you going with that? And then the husband, he's like, yeah, I do. What about it? And Zeph is just like, you're supposed to go golfing by yourself. To get away from your wife. You're such a loser. And I'm like, Zeph, calm down. Like, what did you have before you came here? It's not that serious. And then speaking of husbands, we see Dewey. He's talking to Angie and some other blonde woman. And I'm just like, where's Jenny at? Because he's talking to them and they're like, oh, we heard that you're a doctor or something. And then Dewey is like, oh yeah, a doctor of love, baby. And I'm just like, wow, look at Dewey being so bold. Like, look at him trying to get two sister wives for the price of one. Like, that is crazy. And where's Jenny at? I'm like, come on, Jenny. I mean, you're so worried about Mary when your husband over here, he's trying to get with Angie. And I'm like, Angie, I know what you're doing too. I mean, this whole episode was full of stunts because I know exactly what Angie was trying to do by flirting with Dewey. She's trying to get a storyline for next season so she could try to get a snowflake. Oh yeah, the battle of the wives, we're both competing for the same man. I want her husband. So I'm like, okay, Angie, do whatever you got to do to get on the show. But that's that. And then we see Lisa and Whitney. I'm actually glad that Lisa and Whitney, they managed to put their little beef aside for like a second because they're both enjoying each other's company. Whitney, she's showing her around the lotions that she stole from Marshall and Target, and she's presenting them as Wild Rose products. And Lisa, of course, she makes a callback to what she said in season 1. She's like, oh my God, I love it. It smells so good. Can I smell? Can I touch? But it was a little cute moment between Lisa and Whitney. And then Jenny, she tells Meredith, she's like, Meredith, can you come over? I want to have a conversation privately with you and Mary. So Meredith is just like, come on, Mary. I think we're being summoned. Let's go to the back. So then Jenny in her confessional, she's gathering all the women up, right? Because she's like, in her confessional, she's like, well, I know that Mary, she's known to forget things and she forgets certain situations and forgets certain things that comes out of her mouth. So I want everybody there to be there in the moment when I confront Mary so they can all witness this. So I can have proof. And I don't know, something about it, Jenny just sounded so lame. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna gather everybody around and they're all gonna see me put Mary in her place because I'm a bad bitch. Like, that's what Jenny was giving off. And I'm just like, Jenny, you're making me cringe a little bit. I mean, I understand your purposes, but I'm just like, oh, you could have worded it a little bit better. But regardless, they all get in the back. They're all sitting down on this small ass couch. I'm like, what couch is this? Is this the couch from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion where they were all sitting down so close next to each other like sardines because they were all squeezed in together in these big ass gowns? And Whitney, she's looking like a huge rose at the end of the couch, just sitting there like, oh, it's okay, I'm fine. But Jenny, she goes on to tell Mary, I felt some type of way about your comment about you saying that you like my eyes slanted and stuff. Like, I didn't find that comment right. Like, I think that's very offensive. And Mary's just like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I mean, I just like slanted eyes. And I'm like, Mary, you said it again. And it's just, this is something I just don't understand. Like, if somebody tells you that they don't like certain things that come out of your mouth that's offending them, you just need to accept it. But she just refuses to go against. I mean, she went along with it eventually, but for Mary to go back and forth with Jenny telling her, no, I mean, I thought it was a compliment. I don't know why you're getting so worked up about it. And maybe, I guess to some people, you might say like, okay, Mary wasn't coming from a malicious place. It wasn't like she was trying to offend her. She was just trying to give a compliment, but the compliment came out in an ignorant way, and then Jenny's just like, no, it's just, especially around the time now with all the Asian hate, you shouldn't be saying that. You should be a little bit more conscious about that. So Mary, eventually she's like, okay, well, I get it, even though Jenny in her culture, she could be offended, but in America, we think differently. And I'm like, who's we? I mean, yeah, a lot of Americans are extremely stupid in the way they think, but Mary, no, don't try to blame that on different cultures and stuff, because that's still not okay, even for Americans to say. So eventually Mary, she's like, I'm sorry, for what I said, if I offended you, all that. So I was glad with that. I'm like, okay, Mary, at least you apologized and you took ownership of the words and you said to Jenny that you won't say it again. Meredith, on the other hand, Big Bird, she fucked up too, because Jenny, I think she was just like, would anybody here find that offensive? And then Meredith, I don't understand, because Meredith was just like, I don't think I would necessarily say those type of words, but I don't know if it will be offensive necessarily. And I'm just like, Meredith, again, you as a white woman saying what's offensive and what's not to Jenny, like, no, that's not making sense to me at all. And the fact that you went along with trying to defend Mary was just a bunch of BS. Even Heather, she was just looking at her like, everybody was shocked, because every single one of them in the confessional, they were just like, no. I mean, if this was anybody else besides Mary, Meredith will be on board with what Jenny is saying. But because it's Mary, all of a sudden Meredith, she's just scared of her for some reason, or Mary has something on her, because Meredith refused to budge and refused to accept what Jenny was saying. So that was pretty disappointing itself. I think Meredith also said something online about this, like, apologizing for this or whatever, saying that, she's with Jenny. She's on board with what Jenny says, that, at the moment she didn't choose her words correctly. And I'm like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. But eventually that got squashed. And then Jenny, she brings up the other issue. So she's like, Mary, I also want to bring up the other issue of the shoes, the boots, the bunny. You gave me a used gift, a gift that wasn't for me. It was for Jen. Then the producer asked Jenny, so Jenny, how do you know that these boots were for Jen? And then Jenny, she's like, oh, well, Lisa told me. And that's one thing that I wish that that Jenny would have said to both Meredith and Lisa right then in front of them. Because she was bothered that Meredith took Mary's side by saying, oh, I don't really necessarily think that these words are offensive. But in her confessional, Jenny was just like, oh, yeah, no, I just didn't like that Meredith said that. Like, who are you to tell me what's offensive? I wish that in the moment right then and there, when they were all face to face, she would have said something to Meredith. She has all this energy for Mary, but Meredith, you obviously didn't like what she said to you, and yet it was crickets. You didn't say anything then, Jenny, so that's why it looks a little suspicious that you're always attacking Mary, but you don't say anything else to anybody else. But you also should have told the group right then and there, when you had them face to face, that Lisa was the one that told you that gift was for Jen, but you didn't say that either. You kept that to yourself, unless everybody already knew and just didn't say anything. But those boots were originally for Jen, and Mary is just like, well, I don't understand why you're so offended by it. I mean, yeah, these boots, I got them for my reunion look for last season, and they just didn't fit. They kind of hurt a little bit, so I gave them to you. It's not like they were used or anything. And what do y'all think? I mean, do y'all think that it was like a shady gift or whatever? Like, would y'all have accepted it? Would y'all have felt disrespected? I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit shady, especially with what Mary said in her confessional when she did give Jenny the gift. And she was just like, oh yeah, they didn't fit in my suitcase, so I just gave them away to Jenny just because, So it was kind of like a backhanded gift in a way. So Jen, Jen was happy to receive those boots though. Because Jenny's just like, oh, well, here you go. The price tag is in there. And Jen, she takes the boots, she wears them. She's like, you know what? I don't turn down any type of red bottoms. I'm going to keep them for myself. But we all know what Jen is really going to do with those boots. She's either going to pawn them or she's going to sell them at a higher price so she could pay off the lawyer fees. Like, I'm on to you, Jen. Whitney then jumps into the conversation and she actually makes a valid point by telling the group, well, I was gonna make a toast right now, but I don't think that I could make a toast with this group because I feel like this group lets a lot of discriminatory words just fly by like it's nothing. So I don't think I could make a toast right now. And I feel like this was the perfect time and the perfect moment to have a conversation, an open conversation about the ignorant things that Mary has said, and Heather as well, even though that's kind of just being swept underneath the rug. But then Meredith, she just changed changes the whole entire narrative and the whole entire conversation. And because she's like, well, I just feel like the whole conversation just goes above prejudice. And I'm like, no, Meredith, no. That she was actually making a valid point. So was Jenny. So I don't get why Meredith just continues deflecting and reflecting everything away from the conversation and the main topic, because she was just like, no. It's a whole different issue. I think it goes above that. And then she makes it about Jen. And I'm like, so we're not going to talk about what Mary said or anything, like the list of things, the list of ignorant things that have came out of Mary's mouth. You're just going to make it about Jen. Okay, I see where you stand, Meredith. So Meredith, she's just like, Jen, even though I know me and you have had our differences and have our issues, I feel like, you needed friends, not Facebook friends, not Instagram friends, but actual friends. And, I just didn't really support how everybody just kind of attacked you at Jenny's event. I just feel like it was very wrong of people to do that, when in reality, I thought these women were your friends. So Jen was just like, thank you, I appreciate that, thank you so much. But wait, why can't you be my friend right now? Why can't you be my friend? Because Meredith also told her that she can't be her friend right then and there. I mean, she's going to support her when it comes to, everybody else attacking her, but she can't be her friend. So Jen is just like, why can't you be my friend? And Meredith's just like, no, I just can't. Like, I have too many issues right now with you. Like, it's too much right now. Like, it's just way too much. And I'm just thinking, it's just so funny how Meredith is just so against Jen just because of the whole Brooke situation, which is valid. It's understandable. But then when it comes to other serious subjects like race or like, certain racist remarks, she's just so blind about it. She's just like, nope. No, I don't see it. I don't get how it's so offensive. But when it comes to your son, everything is extremely offensive and you're very sensitive to that. So I don't get why certain subjects for you, Meredith, are sensitive and some aren't, especially when all of it just falls underneath the same category. But Lisa then jumps in and she's like, wait. Just to make it clear right now, Meredith, are you talking about me right now? Because I want to talk about certain things right now as well, because I was not speaking about Jen. I never said anything bad about her. Mary was the one that called you Jen. Mary right there, she called you a Mexican thug. So that wasn't me. I didn't do anything. And that's the only thing that Mary had to hear, because Mary was just like, you know what? I'm not going to take this anymore. Mary got up and then she proceeded to walk away as soon as Lisa said that. And then Meredith, she followed. And what was so funny is that Mary, as she's walking away, she had one of Meredith's purple feathers in her hands that was falling away from Meredith's outfit that she was wearing. I'm like, Meredith, you're shedding all over the couch. You're shedding all over Whitney's event. Like, get your shit together. Like, what's going on here? Meredith, she walks behind her, Jenny, in her confessional. She's like, I don't get it. Like, does Mary have something on Meredith or something? Like, why does every time Mary walk away, Meredith follows right behind her? Like, what's going on here? And at this point, I'm trying to figure out the same thing. Like, Meredith, is Mary supplying something to you? Like, is she giving you a bunch of Gucci materials or a bunch of luxury items that we don't know about? Because why are you so up her ass? Obviously that's all crumbling now because, their little feud on Twitter right now. Mary's going back and forth with Meredith on Twitter right now. So I don't think that friendship is going to last much longer. But regardless, Mary, she walks away. Everybody's just left there confused. I actually wanted to hear what Jen had to say to Mary about the whole Mexican comment, because in Mary's world, she never said that. She was just like, wait, no, I would never say such a thing like that. Like, no. And Lisa, she gets up, she goes to find Meredith, and she's like, wait, Meredith, we need to talk. We need to talk right now. But Meredith, she's not having it. She's like, no, I'm tired of you always screaming and you coming at me for no reason, so we're done. She walks away. Lisa's like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to even chase her right now. I'm going to chase her next week, but I'm not chasing her this week. So that's that. So then, instead of chasing Meredith, she chases Mary. She goes over to Mary. She's like, Mary, can we talk right now? Really quickly. Mary is like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I really don't want to speak to you right now because you're accusing me of things that I never said. And this is the crazy part, because they're making me feel like, am I the one that's not seeing what everybody else is seeing? Because Lisa and Mary are both delusional. Both of them are accusing each other of things that they did, but neither one of them remembers. Like, Mary, yes, you did say the whole Mexican comment about Jen, but in her confessional, she's like, I never said that. And if I did say that, it was because I was trying to, mistake her for the cartels because she was wearing that pretty fur. And then she said another weird comment that I'm like, wait, what? Because she was like, yeah, she was wearing fur and she was wearing those braids. So it made me, think of a criminal. And I'm like, Mary, like, stop. Like, you just need to take a break for a second from saying all these offensive comments. And Lisa, yes, you were talking shit about Jen as well. You were throwing her underneath the bus. You called all 700 of your lawyers, which you didn't tell Jen about. And now you're making it seem like you never said anything bad about Jen, not even just a little bit, you know? So both of you are delusional, just going back and forth with each other. Lisa's like, wait, no, are you my friend? No, stop. Are you my friend? You need to talk to me. Stop, like, stop. And then meanwhile, Whitney, she's trying to make a toast on stage, and she's like, hey everybody, I wanted to make a toast for my Wild Rose beauty products. You know, I just want to thank my husband for being a dumbass and for kind of being blind and just letting me fuck up all my bank account and all our savings. You know, our children are not going to college, so they're gonna have to do other things because of me now. But yeah, I'm very proud of my success. I mean, I just want to also announce that we're losing our house tomorrow and we're gonna live in a hotel, but it was all worth it because now we have a pretty party, right? And I got a pretty outfit. Don't you think my outfit is pretty? It's red. Like, Whitney, just give the cheers and just get off stage and just continue enjoying your party, you know? So that was that. Lisa and Mary, they're not getting nowhere. Mary is just like, you know, I feel like you don't take ownership of what you say. And it's true. Like, Lisa does not own anything. She just throws a bunch of things out there and she's like, nope, I never said anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you attacking me? That's how Lisa is. Mary, you also say a lot of things out of your mouth. And then you go back and you're like, no, I never said that. So again, it was just like two walls arguing against each other because it was getting nowhere. And that was that, y'all. What did y'all think about this episode? It was pretty interesting, especially leading up to that preview to what's coming next week. I'm like, okay, Bad Girls Club, relax. But you know, it was pretty interesting to see how everybody still hates each other on this show. Like, besides Heather and Whitney being friends, everybody else, for the most part, they all hate each other. So it makes an interesting dynamic for this show. And it should be interesting how they move forward from this, especially from everything that's going on Twitter. It seems that it's Jenny versus Meredith now, and it's also Mary versus Meredith, according to Twitter. So we shall see how the reunion is. I think that the reunion is going to be filmed this week or sometime this month or whatever. So that should be interesting when we see it eventually. So what did y'all also think about Mary and her, you know, her making fun of Jenny's accent at the beginning of the episode? Do y'all think that she should be fired for that? If she is fired or she should be fired, I feel like her, Ramona, and everybody else who have said any type of racist or ignorant comments on the show, the franchise, they should also be fired too. Not rewarded with, oh, here you go. You're going to be on the first season of The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, you know? So let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Bye, y'all. Mwah.